In today's video, there's a lot of crazy stuff to talk about, starting with Khabib's team clapping back at Topuria for not letting go of this wild idea, moving up in weight to fight Makhachev.
I can move to the welterweight and we fight for the welterweight belt.
We'll check out what the MMA world thinks about it, plus the latest predictions from analysts and fighters for Oliveira versus Topuria. Armand Sarukian also has a warning for Topuria.
What's up, everybody?
Jon Jones responds to the critics.
Were you the one driving the vehicle?
And the UFC boss just announced a huge main event. All that and more. Let's get into it. A lot of people have already congratulated Jon Jones on ending his incredible career, but at the same time, a lot of fans weren't too happy about him retiring. Some say he ran away, others claim he ducked Tom Aspinall, and a few even argue he hurt his own legacy by walking away like that. But Jones recently fired back at the critics, writing, "I guess everybody else gets to retire, just not when you're still dominating." Funny how that works. Forget personal goals, forget business ventures. Some folks really believe you should fight until they say you've had enough. Wild. Imagine thinking a grown man shouldn't control his own destiny. Of course, like every fighter, Jon Jones has haters and critics. Some people still talk about his controversial win over Dominic Reyes, and there's also the issue of his suspension after a positive drug test. He served his punishment, but those things remain a part of his story. Then there are the what-if fights, against Tom Aspinall, Francis Ngannou, and others, fights that fans wanted but never got. Was Jon Jones the greatest fighter in MMA history? That's always going to be a debate. Yeah, maybe he wasn't the best role model outside the cage, but if we're talking about the greatest fighter ever, that was him. Aljamain Sterling also believes that Jon Jones's legacy remains largely untouched.
I don't think Jon's retiring is a stain on his legacy either. I know some people are trying to paint that narrative, but how can a guy who's defended his championship title more than 10 times have a stain on his legacy because he decided to not fight one more time? If he got hit by a car, knock on wood, and he couldn't compete for the rest of his life, while the negotiations were still being made in the genesis of the negotiations, would people still say this is a stain on his legacy? No, so then what the hell's the difference? He doesn't want to fight him, he doesn't want to fight him. Now, as a selfish fan, the selfish fan in me, I would love to watch Jon Jones fight Tommy Aspinall. Of course I want to see Jon Jones fight Tommy Aspinall. It's a crazy fight. It's a crazy fight. But, I gotta be real, I understand the business side of things and the longevity and protecting what you've accomplished and created, where you're in a position where you don't need the fight. You don't.
Jon Jones may have walked away from the octagon, but controversy continues to follow him outside the cage. The former UFC champion is once again facing legal issues, this time related to a February 21st incident in New Mexico that has now come to light. According to reports from TMZ Sports and the Albuquerque Journal, a traffic stop involving a wrecked vehicle has led to a misdemeanor charge of leaving the scene of an accident being filed against Jones. The situation became even more complicated after body cam footage surfaced, showing an officer interacting with an allegedly intoxicated woman who claimed Jones had been driving and fled the scene. What followed was a bizarre phone call between the officer and a man believed to be Jon Jones. In the footage, the person on the phone appears inebriated and makes several strange, possibly threatening remarks.
Were you the one driving the vehicle?
My brothers attacked the dreams, sisters, and cell phones.
He was the one driving the vehicle.
They split throws. They're the most evil people you'll ever meet.
That's Jon Jones.
Jon Jones?
He was the one driving the vehicle.
But they don't waste their cases with just killing you on petty crimes. But they definitely listen to conversations like this, and some of them are bored enough to kill you. Because they listen. And they teach me to be a man when I'm done.
So, listen to me, man. He's making threats, and if he's making threats, I gotta call an officer on you.
Call him.
Well, guess what, dude? You won't be the first guy this year that I is gonna die. You get a second one.
And who am I speaking to? You Jon Jones?
What? If you're untraceable, my brothers, they do way less.
My brothers, they kill people for way less. The officer quickly called for backup. Jones's attorney has denied that the former champ was behind the wheel that night, or even in the car, calling the case baseless and predicting it will be dismissed. But what do you personally think about all this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Ilia Topuria enters UFC 317 fight week as a massive -500 favorite against Charles Oliveira, and that says a lot about how confident the odds makers are in his skills. Oliveira may be the underdog, but you can never count him out. Still, the betting odds show just how much respect Topuria has earned in a short amount of time. But Charles Oliveira is confident he'll beat Topuria. He says when the fight starts, he's only going to move forward. I'm going to push forward. I'm the problem in this division. I'm a lion, and I'm not going to back down. Topuria responds to Oliveira's statement, saying,
¿Crees que él también va a mantenerse a ese estilo que hace de ser tan agresivo?
No va a poder. No va a poder. Que él puede tener una estrategia, pero después, una vez la campana suena, el combate empieza, no va a encontrar la manera de avanzar hacia adelante. Que eso es lo que sucede conmigo. Que avanzar hacia adelante, ¿con quién estás acostumbrado a hacer eso? Ese no soy yo. Lo vas a ver intentar ir hacia adelante, obviamente. No encontrará la manera de hacerlo, retrocederá, recibirá un par de golpes en la cara, intentará algún derribo y ya muy pronto verás la finalización.
Beneil Dariush, who's fought Oliveira himself, also believes Topuria has what it takes to get the job done.
I lean towards Ilia, but it ain't by much, man. It's just a little bit. I think Charles has a really good chance with his power, with his fakes, with, you know, if he uses his full arsenal, he's a very difficult guy to deal with.
So why do you lean Ilia? What's the kind of thing that's tipping you over the edge there?
I would say Ilia's got great power, and I think wrestling-wise, I would probably say Ilia is probably the better wrestler. So I think that's where this fight could be decided, who the better grappler is.
Merab Dvalishvili said he's never felt anything like what he experienced with Ilia Topuria from any other training partners.
Ilia that good, you know. I know him, I trained with him, and I don't felt nothing like I felt with him. Like I don't felt anything same, any close like to any other training partner, you know. I think Ilia is a little bit shorter, but I think he hits hard and his style, you know. It's like we all see that Alex Volkanovski, he's not the tallest, but how he fights, and he beat 3 times Max Holloway, tall guy, you know. Size depends how you fight, you know, like, and then I don't think size is a big difference. It depends how you fight, and Ilia's fight style is typical for, I think, for Islam and even for Charles Oliveira.
Say what you want, but Oliveira is still a dangerous opponent. Charles isn't just fighting for himself, but for his promise to his family to bring that UFC belt home. In a recent interview, Oliveira's wife revealed a touching promise he made to their 7-month-old son, Dominic. According to her, Charles already fulfilled one dream by winning the UFC belt for his daughter, Thayla. Now, he's aiming to do it again, this time for his baby boy. It's a promise he made to Dominic, she said. He already won a belt for Thayla, and now he'll win another for Dominic. So yeah, I think this one's gonna be a war. But what's your prediction? Who do you think wins this fight? Drop your picks in the comments. Arman Tsarukyan fired back at Ilia Topuria, who earlier claimed that Arman made a mistake by agreeing to be the backup fighter for his bout with Charles Oliveira.
You can't come here as a backup fighter. I don't know how long did he train for this fight, but if something happens to anyone, even to me, I think that there is no possibility that something could happen with me. But who knows? No one knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Even with Charles, he would struggle a lot. And with me, there's like, he has no chances. No chances. Like, first round, first minutes of the fight, what he's going to do? Go for the takedowns. Bro, come on.
You better pray nothing happens to Charles, because I'm the worst possible matchup for you at lightweight. There's a reason you're fighting for the title against a guy I already beat, and not me, Tsarukyan wrote on social media. Tom Aspinall explains why he believes Ilia Topuria is the future of MMA.
But, wow, he's got devastating power, great grappler as well. links everything together so well. Great for the sport. Obviously Georgian / Spanish guy, so he's mixing up nationalities, and just the future. For me, he's the future of MMA.
Definitely.
He's the next step, if you like.
Evolving of the sport.
Even though a lot of fans have already forgotten about the possible fight between Topuria and Islam Makhachev, Topuria made it clear he's not letting go of that dream. He still wants to face Makhachev someday. Topuria believes that if both he and Makhachev win their upcoming fights, there's a strong possibility he'll move up to welterweight, face Makhachev, and pursue a third UFC title.
So if he wants to fight, I will be here. I will defend my belt, and he can come and fight for a lightweight belt, or I can move to the welterweight and we fight for the welterweight belt. I don't care.
But not everyone is buying into the hype, especially not Islam Makhachev's manager, Rizvan Magomedov. He clearly sees the idea as unrealistic, questioning both Topuria's size and whether he can really compete at 170 pounds, especially against someone like Makhachev. In a recent response, Magomedov didn't hold back. He just talks a lot, tries to attract attention to himself. Nonsense, he's so tiny, he won't be able to do it. Also, Dana White has announced a massive headliner for Noche UFC on September 13th. Diego Lopez is set to face Gene Silva in what promises to be an all-action main event.
Got some fight news for you guys. Noche UFC, Mexican Independence Day. September 13th from the Frost Bank Center in San Antonio, Texas. The main event, Diego Lopez. 22 of his 26 wins have come by finish. He'll be taking on Gene Silva, who's on a 13-fight win streak, with every one of those ending by finish. So you have Mexican Independence Day, San Antonio, Texas, from the Frost Bank Center, Diego Lopez versus Gene Silva. Have a great day, everyone.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate your support.